If someone had told me that my wife, the woman I built a life with, the woman I trusted above all else, would be the one to betray me, I wouldn't have believed them. Not Sophia. Not the woman who once looked at me like I was her world. But betrayal has a way of creeping in quietly, settling into the cracks of a marriage long before you notice. Before you realize that the person sleeping beside you has secrets you were never meant to uncover. Before I tell you how it all unraveled, before I tell you about the picture, the message, and the moment my entire reality shattered, you need to understand who I was before I met Sophia. Because that man would have never seen this coming. I was never the kind of guy who sought drama. My life was structured, organized. I had built a successful career in finance, working as a senior investment strategist at a top firm. I was the kind of man who believed in stability. In loyalty. In certainty. Love, to me, was supposed to be like numbers, predictable. If you worked hard, invested wisely, and remained committed, you'd see the returns. You'd build something unshakable. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought I had. Growing up, I had seen my parents' marriage thrive. 35 years together. A bond built on trust and mutual respect. I wanted that. I wanted a wife who would be my partner in every sense of the word. So when I met Sophia, I thought, this is it. This is the woman I've been waiting for. But in hindsight, maybe I was just a stepping stone for her. Maybe I was never meant to be her forever. Maybe, someone else already had that place in her heart. Sophia was different from any woman I had ever dated. She wasn't just beautiful, she was captivating. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and instantly command attention. She had an aura about her, this effortless confidence that made people gravitate toward her. She knew how to hold a conversation, how to make you feel like you were the most important person in the room. And when she set her sights on me, I felt like the luckiest man alive. We met at a corporate networking event. She was already well established in her career, working as a marketing executive at one of the largest firms in the city. I remember our first conversation vividly. She smiled, tilted her head slightly, and said, "You look like the kind of man who has his entire life planned out." I chuckled. Is that a bad thing? She sipped her wine, eyes gleaming. Not at all. I like men who know what they want. I had no idea then that what she wanted, wasn't me. Not really. One thing about Sophia. She never talked much about her past. She was an open book when it came to her career, her ambitions, her dreams. But when it came to her personal history, she kept things vague. I remember asking her once, early in our relationship, "Have you ever been in love before?" She hesitated, just for a fraction of a second, before smiling. "Once," she admitted. "But it didn't work out." "Why?" I pressed. She shrugged. "We wanted different things." And that was it. That was all she ever said about him. At the time, I didn't think much of it. People have pasts. Exes. Old flames that burned out. But now I know, some fires never really die. Some embers smolder beneath the surface, waiting for just the right moment to reignite. And Daniel, the man she never really spoke about, was one of them. From the outside, we had everything. A beautiful home in a quiet, upscale neighborhood. Respectable careers. A love story that seemed almost picture-perfect. We took vacations together, had inside jokes, whispered dreams to each other in the dark. Sophia made me feel like I was the center of her world. But maybe I was just a convenient placeholder. Maybe the center of her world had always been someone else. I started noticing little things. Small, insignificant moments that, at the time, didn't seem like red flags. Like how she'd occasionally get lost in thought while staring at her phone. Or how she'd be smiling, really smiling, while texting, and then immediately lock her screen the moment I walked into the room. I didn't question it. I trusted her. But trust is a dangerous thing when placed in the wrong hands. Because sometimes, it's not that you're blind. It's that you refuse to see. It was a Tuesday night. A regular night. Nothing unusual. Sophia was working late, or so she said. I was home, unwinding after a long day. My phone buzzed. A message from her. I opened it casually, expecting something simple, a reminder to pick up groceries, a sweet goodnight text. Instead, I saw it. A picture. A picture of Sophia and a man I had never seen before. They were close. Too close. Their faces inches apart. And beneath it, a message that made my blood run cold. I'm missing you so much, baby. I felt paralyzed. Was this a joke? A mistake? Had she meant to send this to me? No. No, she hadn't. Because I wasn't the man in that picture. And I sure as hell wasn't the baby she was missing. My heart pounded so hard in my chest, I could hear it in my ears. I stared at the screen, hoping, praying, that I had misread it. I'm missing you so much, baby. No. This had to be a mistake. Maybe it was an old picture. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe. But deep down, I already knew. Sophia had never called me baby. Not once in all the years we'd been together. That message wasn't meant for me. My fingers trembled as I gripped my phone. I wanted to call her. To demand an explanation. To scream at her through the phone, asking who the hell this man was. But I didn't. Not yet. Because something in me, some dark, sinking instinct, told me that this was bigger than just one message. So I waited. I waited for her to come home. And when she finally did, she had no idea that the life she had built on lies was about to crumble beneath her feet. Sophia walked through the front door like any other night. She set down her purse, kicked off her heels, and let out a tired sigh. Hey, babe, she said, stretching. Work was brutal today. I sat on the couch, phone still in my hand. She didn't notice the way I was staring at her. Long night? I asked, keeping my voice steady. She nodded, already walking toward the kitchen. Yeah, we had a last-minute campaign pitch. I was in back-to-back meetings all day. Lies. She had no idea that I had proof in my hands. That in a single second, the illusion of our perfect marriage had shattered. I took a deep breath. Then I spoke. Sophia, I said, voice low. Who's Daniel? She froze. I saw it, the flicker of panic in her eyes. It was subtle, but it was there. A second too late, she forced a confused smile. Daniel? Who's Daniel? I turned my phone around and held up the screen. Her face drained of color. Silence. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Swallowed hard. Finally, she forced out a nervous laugh. Oh my God, babe. I can explain. That was meant for Claire. My coworker. We were joking about an old friend from college. More lies. I didn't blink. An old friend? She nodded quickly. Yes. From years ago. I swear, it's not what it looks like. I clenched my jaw, staring at her. It wasn't just the words, it was the way she said them. The way her voice wavered. She was lying to my face. And the worst part? She still thought she could get away with it. I leaned back on the couch, my mind racing. Daniel. She had never mentioned a Daniel before. And then it hit me. The one time she had spoken about an ex, the one she said she had loved but wanted different things. Was it him? I stared at the picture again, my stomach twisting. They weren't just old friends. The way she looked at him, the way he held her, it wasn't casual. It wasn't innocent. Something deeper was there. I looked back up at her. Tell me the truth, Sophia. Who is he really? She hesitated. I already told you. Don't lie. My voice was firm now. I know when you're lying. A long pause. And then, in a barely audible whisper. He's my ex. Boom. It felt like the floor beneath me cracked. I forced myself to stay calm, even as anger and betrayal surged through me like wildfire. She was still in contact with him. Still calling him. Still sending him messages like this. I exhaled slowly. How long, Sophia? She blinked. What? I tightened my grip on my phone. How long have you been talking to him? Silence. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but then she closed them again. That was all the answer I needed. It wasn't recent. I stood up slowly, my chest tight. This wasn't an accident, was it? My voice was eerily calm. She shook her head quickly. No. I swear. It was nothing. We were just catching up. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. I scoffed. Didn't mean for it to come across that way. Sophia, you sent him a picture. You told him you missed him. How do you expect me to believe this was nothing? She ran a hand through her hair, exhaling shakily. I don't know. Her voice cracked. I didn't mean to hurt you. Didn't mean to hurt me. Funny how cheaters always say that after they're caught. I stared at her, trying to piece together the woman in front of me with the woman I thought I had married. I had trusted her. Loved her. Given her everything. And in return, she had been longing for another man. I shook my head. Do you love him? The question hung between us like a dagger. She hesitated. That hesitation cut deeper than any lie ever could. And then, softly, almost too soft to hear. I don't know. Boom. That was it. That was all I needed to know. It wasn't just a mistake. She had been hiding this for a long time. Everything after that was a blur. The yelling. The tears. The apologies that meant nothing. I packed a bag that night. Walked out the door without looking back. Sophia tried to call me, but I ignored every message. Because I knew the truth now. She had never really let him go. Maybe I was just a rebound. A placeholder until she could figure out what she really wanted. Or maybe, she had always wanted him. Maybe I had just been too blind to see it. Either way, I was done. Weeks passed. Then months. I filed for divorce. She tried to talk me out of it, but I refused. I wasn't going to stay in a marriage built on lies. One day, curiosity got the best of me. I searched Daniel's name. And what I found? A wedding announcement. He had been engaged the whole time. She wasn't just longing for him. She was competing for him. And in the end, she lost everything. Just like I did. What do you think? Would you have forgiven her? Or walked away like I did? Let me know in the comments. And if this story kept you hooked, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.